Greetings, world. Welcome to another Mental Rolodeck Live. Today's topic: Aboriginal man needs emotional support too. Greetings, kings. Greetings, goddess.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings. How is everyone?
Ah,
I'm good. I'm feeling great.
Also,
got an
How are
awesome
you?
How are
here,
you
man. He got it
guys? How's
going on.
everybody?
All right, we live.
Hello? Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sean.
He did say he was going to go in.
Yeah, let's
Or
get going. We're gonna go off the record
oh,
scale in the wrong direction.
you threw the floor is mine, I guess. All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
the floor
So
is yours.
yeah. Earlier this week, I posted up a video. I mean, not a video, but I posted up a picture saying like men needs emotional support as well. Um, and I asked, is that too taboo for society? Because nowadays men are more open to expressing how they feel as individuals, showing more of a sensitive side to themselves. And I'm the type of person who I'm gonna feel how I feel, no matter who's in the room. And if it makes me less macho to someone else, then it doesn't. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter to me. I've been told growing up sometimes, oh, you should be more this, you should be more that. Why are you so gentle? Why you speak like this? Why you feel like that? Why are you crying right now? And I never understood why people were so like, I don't know, um, taken aback when a man cries, or when they feel some type of emotional feeling, and and people are just like, a little taken aback. Men, women, all like we do not get a pass sometimes. And when I saw that picture, I posted it. And yeah, half of my feeling, it came out of anger because you know there's a large rate in suicides with men. And um and for black men, I feel like no, like sometimes there's no real relief. So I posted it up on MEN-talRollaDeK to just to get that kind of guidance, because when I first met you guys, this was something I felt like I needed: some knowledge, some people who think just like me, and they're open with having that conversation. While, like, maybe some of my friends or some of the colleagues that I'm like, man, the fuck up, or so on and so forth. And they'll make light of the situation when I'm being dead serious. That's why I posted it up. That's why I asked that question. Hence why we are here, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm ready to have this conversation, and just to learn from other people as well, not just to learn from me. You probably won't learn much from me. If you don't know me, I am a comic book illustrator, writer, and publisher from my own company, Divide District Studios, where we're trying to not only create new content, new stories, but to like just kind of have an open mind of different things, to where we can get people to actually think about things that are going on today. Like, Marvel and DC had their time to do it, and I guess it is our time as well. And I, yeah, that's it. Pretty much. Hello?
Who would it takes to anybody else want to follow that up?
I guess I'll jump in here. First of all, Sean, I want to say Mo do pay to you for your talent and the work you're doing, and I'm definitely interested in some of the work you're doing. and the material. I mean, I'm a little old amateur, I guess book man myself, book writer. I got a little book out there, been out there a while, called "The Other Side of Slavery: The Untold Story,
Mm.
the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly." But let's jump on
Wow.
this thing right here that we're talking about. Why men need support, and I'm glad you brought in the fact of your personal experience. It goes back. Let me use what hereditary. It goes back way back in the day, back in my day and beyond. If you cried, you was considered weak and a little B, and it was taught.
Mm-hmm.
But realize that men have tear ducts too. And what we realized is it was called the lack of knowledge of oneself. To tell a man that he was 180 feminine, 180 masculine, he said, "I ain't no punk." Well, you have to realize your genetic makeup. You as much feminine on one side as you are masculine on the other. When you don't know
Yeah.
yourself, and because we didn't know ourselves, we was taught to hate that feminine part of us. Did you get that? We were taught
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
we was taught through religion and society. If you showed a sign of compassion or anything that leaned toward the feminine side, you was either a punk, a sissy, a homosexual, a gay, and you was taught to fight that side, which is natural because you have tear ducts and you have feelings. And we had song macho, macho man, and you didn't do that. Then in school you had neutralized. No, what's a girl? She's sugar spice and everything now. What a boy, snails, nails, and puppy dog tails, and all kind of bullshit was fed. So you was taught to psychologically to hate the feminine side, and when you showed it, they say you were weak and you was a punk. But sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you cry because you about to kill a nigga, you know. Nigga done pissed you off and you cry because you know I'm finna kill this nigga. Not that I'm weak, I'm finna kill you, bro. I'm finna take your ass off the
Mm-hmm.
planet. And you don't realize shit. I'm gonna make your ass history. So I'm crying because you're gonna be missed. So
Yeah.
and that was society's brainwashing. All the guys with teach in the community, they want you to be hardcore. You know, the harder you are, the more man you were. But now, but when that other man rolled around, you all got looked like little bitches. You got in the car, you got quiet, and you just say shit. When that so-called white man showed up, that you called the real man. So it's knowing how to
Mm.
balance that energy, destroy
Mm-hmm.
the psychological, and the same thing we deal with today. Say how that the church, how religion has ruined the indigenous man to think, to cry, and to show signs of compassion and nurturing. That made you a weak, made you feminine. You know,
Yeah.
or you might show signs of being maybe more sweeter than other guys and had a few feminine ways. Didn't make you be no punk, but they would call you a punk or sissy. Man, you weak.
Yeah.
That's society's programming, whereby you start questioning your own character and your own self, and that
Yeah.
became a problem. And get so that when you get that one, then you can't handle stress. What you gonna do? Then you got to kill your damn self because you can't handle stress because you don't know how to balance that positive and negative energy, feminine and masculine, and that's the downfall of not just us as even that man that calls himself to be the man across time.
Mm.
Why higher rate of suicide among European whites than you do among blacks. He can't take
Yeah.
stress. He's out of him. And that's my little
Mm.
advice right now.
Ashe Baba.
Mm.
For me, Sean, I applaud you, because I think that's powerful to even pose the question. What's even more powerful is that you're here to get answers and to get a better understanding, and is nothing wrong with you at all. You know what I'm saying? Society has painted this horrible picture, that that the brothers got to man up and got to do this and got to do that. That's just the way it is. I've seen sisters, say this to their son: "Stop that crying. You're a boy. You're not supposed to cry. Let that baby cry if his feelings are hurt or whatever emotion that he is showing at that time. He's a human being first. So our sensitivity levels are going to be different on all different types of levels. And I love to see a man who is in touch with self and can have an emotional moment, or speak from his heart instead of acting like you're so hard all the time, like nothing phases you, and it's just the way it is. You're gonna shake it off, and I'm a man. I'm gonna do this. One thing that I've learned is anytime somebody walks around and makes an announcement about a title that they feel like that they're carrying, that shows me how insecure they are in that title that they're carrying. A sister used to say all the time, I'm a queen, I'm a queen, I'm a queen because I'm a queen. No, if you got to make an announcement every time you walk in a room about what you're carrying, that means you're not secure about who you are. So you shouldn't have to make an
Facts.
announcement that I'm a man. I'm supposed, that's just the way men do it. And or whatever. No, it's be in touch with self and understand who you are as a person. I respect that a whole lot more than somebody fronting and trying to pretend that they are this, that, and the other, and behind closed doors, they're an emotional wreck because they are not in touch with who they are or the emotional imbalances that come with it. Let's talk about it. And like you mentioned earlier, so many men, has a high rate of suicidal tendencies or attempts, or may have been successful at unsuccessful at ending their lives. And I and it and it's that stigma, because they don't know how to deal with who they are, and or possibly embarrassed or not having any answers because the men that's around them, they carry a certain stigma, and so they feel out of place. But I think, as mothers, as beautiful feminine energy, as strong kings rise up and they see this, I think that it's more of a conversation to have with our children and our children's children and among each other, to say, hey, look, we're human beings. We have, like Baba said, we all have tear ducts. We all are prompted to cry. It could be at a movie. We could watch a movie and we could feel that little nudge, that little unction to want to cry, but we sucking tears in. Something that's simple. But I just believe if we are open to receiving self and understanding who we are, it'd be so much better for us as individuals and collectively as a people. So.
That's well stated. In actuality, I keep saying the insecure is always insecure around secure people. And because I remember like one of the first lives I've ever conducted, and I asked, why is it the issue that men cry too? And and most women, not females, would say, "Oh, based on a man being balanced, oh, he's a mama's boy, oh, he's this and that." These were the labels and titles that was being passed on. And I'm like, wait, you don't even know me. You don't even know me, fam. You know what I'm saying? So why are you giving me all these titles and you don't know who I am? But a person that never recognized the truth about themselves will never recognize the truth about you. So you just got to continue to be who you are and flow, even when it makes the insecure or uncomfortable. And it is what it is, because they heighten the fact that women get raped and so on and so forth. But when you look at the statistic, man has been more abused and more, raped and so on and so forth than women. But that was never a conversation. It's always like, yo, pick your lip up, put your chin up, you be all right. I went through that. And what I realized, the person that goes around and act like there's nothing wrong, there's a boiling point. And I've exploded. Like, people thought I had an anger problem, until
right. That, oh man, you tapped into something. Definitely.
And until I spoke to another king, and he was like, yo, king, you got how you feel inside, you got to express it, because it's like every time you hold on to it, you're going to come to another boiling point. And even if it has nothing to do with that person, you're going to explode again. You know, so before he's like, you need to release it, period. And that aided me into relinquishing a lot of like that anger within inside of me.
I I definitely agree. My my last like talking about like my last encounters, like my last relationships, I will always get triggered. You know, they would say something. I'm like what? Like, you know, like I would feel insecure. I would feel angry. I I would have like this feeling in my stomach where it would feel like it would go into knots in seconds, and and they will always think you have a anger problem, or or they would say you have a temper tantrum. And yeah, I feel like I get moody, yes, but there's something more to that. Like, you know, like we like sometimes we gotta be stoic, completely stoic, for certain things, and we can't be moved, or we can't be emotionally moved. And I've seen it not just with me, but with my family members as well. Like, you know, they will be like, "Yep, it's cool," you know, like let things breeze by. Little thing comes over and over and fills up their cup, and they overflow, and not just with tears, but with anger. And the thing is like, you know, we're expected so much. Some men expect so much from women. Men Women expect so much from men. And I and like, as of like this year, and actually sitting down and actually being more in control of my emotions sometimes, like, you know, I still get a little angry, but not to where I am, like, you know, uncontrolled, but more of when I know what is triggering me, and I just speak on it, and I try to do my best to control that feeling. But yeah, it's like now that I understand a little bit more, I'm getting more in tune with not just myself, but with the elements around me. Like, I kind of receive it, and let it go. I've learned that a lot of men deal with that sort of thing, the insecurity, you know. Maybe they were slighted, as a kid, or they seen um their fathers or their uncles or their family members, their um the male role models experienced something like that, and they handled it a certain way. And it um I guess they inherited that same reaction, or they were told to do it that way because it's the manly macho way to do. But instead, I decided to like break free from that, you know. You know, I don't want to, just because I have a bad day, I don't want to go out and use vices to pacify me, and then to wake up and feel double, or to feel like I don't feel nothing at all, and I want to feel something, even if it's pain. And that's and you know, some people would say, "Oh, that's a US thing." No, that's a you thing too. That's a you thing all around. If I feel like that, you feel like that. Not to the extent, but you have the potential. You get what I'm saying?
That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great way of expressing your pride you felt. And most people have a problem with that, expressing that particular thing you just said now. But then sometimes you have to give an account of what is going on in your life, or what kind of day you have, or what kind of food you've ate that day, that will bring certain response to, because even food that we eat brings on certain emotions and reactions to certain things.
Right. If
And,
chocolate makes you happy, then something else has to. Well, chocolate has chemicals in it that brings out your endorphins, your happy
yeah, you know,
endorphins.
and some people when they get up, they have a eating disorder, or and it's an emotional imbalance. So we have to examine everything that's around us, even the clothes that we wear sends a vibration to ours in our inner psychic. You know, if you wear a lot of dark clothes, you're more apt to get angry quicker than the one wearing a lot of light clothes. A lot of folks don't know even the, I'm looking at you now. A lot of people will take what you're doing now is a great relief of stress doing your artwork, because you are creating something and you're seeing it come to fruition, right? Some people use
Right.
music. Some people use music. We have our various forms to relieve that stress. Just like on a hot water heater, it's got a pop out valve. Right up in your when
Hmm.
it gets too hot, and pop out valve, let out steam. You gotta find a way to get rid of that buildup. You know, some people go to the gym and work out. You're gonna have to find a way to balance that energy so it can be more productive than destructive. And a lot of time it's society to give us a bad interpretation of how we ought to feel, or how we ought to express it. What we need to do is find our own lane that best works for us. As in, some people use meditation, some use a part of martial art, various things, and we call them hobbies. I got a hobby, I'm able to go there and think and find peace. The greatest thing a man can have is peace of mind. When it's disturbed, all hell break loose. You know. And our time, a lot of
Yep.
time, if you ain't supposed to cry, why do you have tear ducts? If you ain't, why you have these emotions if you ain't supposed to feel these symptoms or manifestation of these feelings if you're not supposed to have these emotions? Nobody's
I
born
mean,
emotionless.
it's due to our programming because like in the beginning stages, I used to do it to my son. I'm like, yo, stop crying. You know what I mean? Because that's what I was taught. But I cry. Like if I'm watching a movie and I see something beautiful, it's not like I'm forcing it. It just trickle down. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Men or women is masculine and feminine, and it's hard to find a balanced man. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these dudes, most dudes, they go around saying they're harder than 6 o'clock in the morning, but they got their pants below their knees with their drawers showing. You know what I mean? So you got to look at what we consider macho, or who the stud's supposed to be. Is the stud Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson? Is that what the height is, and so on? And I feel like that's what we run away from ourselves and aim to look at somebody else to define us, and that's where we end up with the wrong part of us because we're taking on their energy versus our own. That's why it says know thyself. When you aim to master you, that's the only freedom there is. Period.
Facts.
You know, how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
somebody go ahead, Sean?
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I feel like you get to know yourself a little bit more. You'll be able to understand and identify, and I love using that term, identify. You get to identify what's going on and how you're going to react to it. And sometimes I react poorly. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, it happens again. You go at it differently. Like today, like for example, someone accused me for opening my mouth. If you know me, and Jermaine, you got to know me pretty well. Um, I don't really speak. I don't really talk. I just do my own thing. I just go about things like, you know, I don't talk as much. If I'm comfortable with you, that's when that like, I'll talk a little bit more. And even then I hardly speak. I do more listening than anything else. Well, there was an altercation the day before. She thought I ran and told somebody because I overheard what they two of the coworkers were saying, and then came up to me this morning and she confronted me. And when I told her that I didn't say a word and I didn't put her name in my mouth or anything of the sort, usually at that time I would be verbally getting at her, like just lashing back out. Instead, I was just like, listen, if you don't believe me, you could talk to the person that you actually have the problem with. And she walked away. I brought the person anyway. And then she did the lashing, but either way, like I did not have to curse. I did not have to raise my voice. I was cool, calm, and collected. I knew what was going on, and I understood, you know, and I was not insecure about delivering truth. And that's the whole thing. Once you start moving a certain way, like, and you just go about your truth, and it doesn't matter who is barking up against you. You have the confidence inside, and that's another thing. We got a failed. We Speaking of confidence, most men, including myself, have a failed sense of confidence, you know, and that's why that question always comes up in your segments. What is confidence to you? What do you define as confidence? Because no one really knows, but everybody does, and nobody really wants to give their truth because the confident is an internal thing. No one has the same answer. It's only comfortability within yourself. So when you said know thyself, I'm like, yeah,
It's funny. It's funny. Hey,
definitely.
Baba, it's funny that because my cousin was on the show last night, and what he was saying, I wasn't against what he was saying because that's his truth. If that's how he believed, and he was talking about I am afford the right to say I'm better than you, and I turned to him and I said, if you're better, why should you open your mouth or say anything? Your actions should speak for yourself. And it's just so funny that we're doing a separate live, and Pache touched on it in her statement, and you just touched on it in your statement. You know, so sometimes the battle is not within the moment. Sometimes the battle will come, and you just got to let things be. We aim to control things too much. You know what I mean? Like I've learned, like bro, I was in school. You know what I'm saying? Like through anger and through insecurity, just fighting, bro. Like I would see somebody, yo, like I'm moving with these people. I think that was my friend. He'd be like, yo, punch him in the face. No question asked. Boom, out of anger. And like as a grown man sitting back and looking at these things, I'm like, yo, I did some stupid shit. You know what I mean? Due to misguidance within my life, due to people telling me how to be and what not to be. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy too because you have a woman that if you cry in front of them, they think that's a turnoff.
Yep.
And how can you be turned off by a man being himself? Like it's natural. Like I told my sons now, like it's okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with you crying. You're expressing yourself. You know what you need to look at is what you're crying for, though. You know, because you don't want to give everything and everyone your tears. You know, and that's just that.
But that's another thing. Even that, I feel like it's it I feel like I disagree with that entirely. You know, like some people cry for the littlest things, maybe just to have, like, for example, I remember I remember when I was a kid, and you know, and I forgot what the hell we was doing. We was traveling of some sort, and but like I didn't eat the night before. I was a very picky eater, and then we had to travel to my aunt's house, and I haven't eaten in a while, and my mom was giving me such a hard time. No, we can't stop. No, we can't stop. So like I'm sitting there, you know, and she's like, "Calm down. We're gonna eat." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know how like as a kid, everything is exaggerated. Everything is new. Everything is big, like
Oh
it's big
man.
news. So when I finally got the chicken wings and French fries, I started tearing up. And my mom was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yes." And she got upset because, like, once again, the insecurity. You don't want to go into your aunt's house, right? Your aunt's or your grandmother's house, and you look like you acting like you haven't eaten days. Meanwhile, I didn't even have dinner, and I'm going through like a good 12-hour fast, and I'm like 7 or 8, and I'm so happy that I'm finally eating. It brought out tears of joy. My mom was so confused, so angry, and don't know what to do, and that was so. She was like, "Why the fuck are you crying?" I was like, "This is amazing," and my and that's where I was labeled the crybaby of the family, in which that's not true, because that's not true. Like, things that happened to me as growing up, like getting hit with a metal pipe, I just pass out, but I wouldn't cry, or like, like, is stuff like that. But the whole thing is that I think that should be false too. You have to identify where it's coming from. Why is this person crying? And I feel like, personally, I don't have children yet, but I have nieces and nephews. So when they start crying for no reason, instead of me telling them to stop, or just like kind of judging them for crying, I ask them, even if it's something little, and then I interject with like, I guess, my grown man knowledge, and and tell them, like, well, this, that, and the third. But I think it's okay for people to explore those feelings, especially if you don't cry and then you all of a sudden just start crying, you know. And and I've noticed also in sports, most, like in championships, why did they always cry in championships? Like, why did Jordan cry in that 96 game, that 97 game, or and even more so, like, he will have tears of joy in every championship he has won with the Chicago Bulls. There will always be a tear in his eye, and I will always wonder, yo, you're the greatest.
but
Why are you crying?
but you gotta
And
look, right?
it's
Kids,
right,
kids look at us as superheroes, right? And
right.
we don't look at ourselves as superheroes, because the reason why we get upset, and I'm guilty of, I've went through this. The reason why I used to get upset is because I did not understand what they were going through, right? Picture,
Right.
picture, picture being a new dad, right? And you don't know what's going on with your kid. He can't express himself, right? It frustrates you,
Uh-huh.
but the older they get, the more they teach you how to deal with them. And it is what it is. Like, I had a nice little talk with my oldest the other day, and I was like, I was telling him, like, everything is not always going to go your way. It's fine. It's okay to cry. You just gotta, analyze things and maneuver how you need to maneuver. And I was looking at myself like, dude, I was proud of myself. Like, I got a little teary eye, because I'm thinking in my head, while talking to him, I'm talking to myself like, yo, wow, this is what a dad's supposed to do. I didn't dismiss him. I explained it to him. And I feel like a lot of us, is as parents, we miss the mark, not knowing we're the actual guide. We're not supposed to traumatize them and instill our fear or form of knowledge that we have onto them, because 9 times out of 10, the stuff we're trying to instill on them is due to the way we were brought up. And that shit wasn't correct. You get what I'm
No, it
saying?
was touch and go. It was touch and go,
Exactly.
man.
And nobody has the right answers, King. So you just got to keep doing it as you go along. Because if you try to put yourself in somebody else's shoe, what works for them may not work for you. So we have to understand these things, and then you got to look at the people that you're crying around. Like when it comes to females, or say your brothers or other men, you know what I'm saying? Because they're hurt people as well. So how can somebody that's hurt tell you not to be hurt or how to quell your hurt when they're still hurt? Because they don't know how to express themselves. And the way they express themselves is telling you to lock the shit away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I did it to my girl, like when I was in a relationship or whatever. Like she would always cry. And I'm like, yo, you cry too much, because that's how I was brought up. I'm like, you cry too much. Then one day she came out and she said, yo, this is the way I express myself. This is the way I flush myself. And that shit taught me a lot. So I don't go around telling people don't cry. Like, cry as long as you want, as long as you feel better after you cry. Knock it out. I cry. I don't want to be strong all the freaking time. I'm not strong all the freaking time. Sometimes I need a shoulder to lean on, not because I'm a man. And I feel like that's where the disconnect comes into play, because society only paint us as a provider, but a man is a lot more than a provider. When a man is stress-free, he's also a creator. You get what I'm saying? When a man is stress-free, he's also a father. When a man is stress-free, you know what I'm saying? He's a husband, and so on and so forth. An architect, like a construction worker, a musician, and so on and so forth. Like it's not taboo. You trying to tell me I'm soft because I'm balanced, because I'm using my masculine and feminine energy, as you should? Man, get the guy. Go hug a tree, B.
That's the programming,
and that shit feels good too. Go hug a tree.
That's the programming. And if you the same thing we're talking about, you find some of these same scenarios on a lot of these so-called holy books, and they believe religion, so it's practiced and taught, ingrained. And you know, and even our parents, a lot of them, they made a lot of mistakes in trying to raise us. They be beating the dog shit out of you and telling you don't cry. You know?
Oh yeah,
and then you stop crying. You ain't gonna cry. You ain't gonna, and you beating the dog shit out of me, right? What do you want me to cry or not cry? Make up your fucking mind. Which is it?
Right.
Yes. And it's natural. It's a natural part of your body function.
Yeah.
I've been through something like, look at well, mama, do I cry? And I cry. What do I do? Shit. I'm tired of you beating on my butt. What to do? You know? And we're guilty.
Like it's confusing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Shut up,
fam.
You ain't gonna cry.
Fam.
Whoa. That's mind-boggling. You beat me. You beat me with the damage. I'm not gonna cry.
Right?
Yo.
They beat you, and then they tell you to stop crying, or they'll give you something to cry about, and then you're looking at them.
Come on, man.
But you just did.
Hey, look at this. Hey, Baba. My mom, fam. My mom used to whoop our ass, boy. And I think when I turned 15, 16, started tensing up. So them shits, I mean, they were hurt, but we would act like them shit. So I'm like, yo, your hands tired yet? You done? We eat those. When she walk away, be in the room crying like a mom. That shit hurt. That shit hurt. I used to do that shit like, yo, you done? I eat those. And she looking at like, this be crazy. She walk. I'm like, yeah. Go in the room, start crying out hell, wishing all type of debts on them. Like, yeah.
Like, and don't tell me this gonna hurt me more than hurt you, because you ain't gonna get your ass whooped. I am. How's it hurting you?
You know, like, and like if you mock,
I'm the one getting beat.
They go up a level. You mock, they go up.
Hey, it's a messed up trauma. We are traumatized, fam. Like the psyche is screwed up.
One of my friends, Dr. Naeem Akbar, good friend of mine, clinical psychologist, he said one thing that the indigenous person was never done coming out of the traumatization of slavery. He was never psychoanalyzed and got through that stage, and it's been embedded all the way down through our children, whether you was a slave or not, or a slave holder. The shit carried over, you know what I mean? And we was never psychoanalyzed to get the stuff out of our system. So a lot of us are still emotionally traumatized through our DNA, you know. And a lot of things we've been taught, man, has got us jacked up. I'm glad that I had an awakening one day to understand there's nothing wrong with crying, you know. I'm sitting at my mom's, which I learned a lot along, so I don't do a lot of things at funerals, because if I didn't cry when you live, I'm not going to cry when you get out of this madness. But we sat there, but you feel a swelling in your chest and your eyes. You call it sympathy or whatever, but you have these emotions, and it's just good to get it out. I know as a pastor in a church, you know, I would tell the people, you know, don't cry, you're gonna be all right. Nigga, are you crazy? I'm laying up here. My son laying up here. Have you lost your mind? So I started saying, go ahead and cry and let it out. Go ahead and let it out, because I don't want you to explode up in here. You understand? But you hear a lot of crazy thing at funerals, and quit telling folks they're in a better place. How the hell you know they're in a better place?
Right. You don't know this person.
Yeah. Well, you know they're in a better. How the hell you know where they going to?
You got some people that want to jump in the casket, fam.
Yeah, man, because they know they get to some shit.
Yeah, right.
You be like, what are you really crying for? Are you crying because he died and left you with all this shit? You don't have the responsibility, or are you actually genuinely crying because you're hurt that they're no longer here? Like, you know, and it's crazy because people look at me, certain people that know me look at me as a numb individual. You know what I'm saying? Like when certain things happen, I don't take sides for it. Like I can't tell you how to feel if somebody passed for you. You know what I'm saying?
Tell you what, you got to meet my goddess. They think she's harder than nails. She don't get emotional about shit. Sky,
yeah, okay.
Okay, that's it, and let's move on. You know, so be it. Let's move on. I'm looking sometimes. You sure you got feelings? But she has feelings.
Hey,
and all her friends say, shit, she's strong. Say she don't cry. Say about shit. The world can blow up. She ain't gonna do shit.
And then them bathroom walls know those pains, King.
Come on now.
Certain people that don't express it in front of people when they locked away in them four walls.
Yeah.
The walls know their secrets. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, that is that Shaw.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with to show our emotions, you know. And if a person got it with it, can say, you know what you can do? Take the next rocket ship to goddamn Mars, you know. Get on up. That's what you can do. Take the next rocket ship to Mars, because if I can't express myself, my balance, then I'm not human, you know. And you know, and that means a lot. And I learned that the hard way, coming up, you know, and going to be macho to impress my friends that I was hard. Man, shit. That dog.
Do you ever notice why most people get in arguments is due to the lack of emotion that they actually show? Because sometimes that plight or feeling has nothing to do with the next person. It has everything to do with that person that expressing themselves, and that person is just there, so they're the one on the receiving end of it. It's wrong, but that's what happened 99% of the time. You get what I'm saying? Do you ever look at it that way?
Sometimes I look at it that way. You know,
this
like
you're a hell of an artist, man. Watch your thing, bring this alive right in front of us. And you ain't missed a beat talking, and you're steady working. You one talented individual. Man.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, man,
I do this in. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man. Go. I mean, y'all seeing this? He ain't missed a stroke, a shade.
I know. I'm watching it.
I'm going like this, brother. Brother, something else, man. You're gifted. You playing this thing to live, and we
Thank
sitting
you.
there talking about emotion and feeling. You ain't missed a stroke, a line, or coloring in. I'm going like, look at this brother.
Since we're on a side note,
When
Sean, you ever did that silhouette? You ever get a chance to get the silhouette done for me?
actually, I did get the silhouette done. I just never sent it. Like,
Okay.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. You know what? Let me actually.
No, when
You know what?
you finish, it's fine. No rush. That's
I
that's
should have brought the
that's gonna be
iPad
my
with me.
alter ego. That's gonna be my alter ego. Like when I really want to say what I really want to say, y'all gonna see that image
Pop
in the
up, bro.
background of the live.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I really want to express myself the way I want to express myself.
Shay, it remind me of you with this artwork and stuff you be doing around there, rebuilding stuff, remodeling, refurbishing, and going on. You know,
Yeah.
all you
And
artists. Yeah.
I love that. And Sean, let me tell you, and you know, and Baba, just to kind of piggyback on what you just said on this major compliment towards Sean, think about it like this. Think about it if Sean was emotionless, just no emotions about anything. Do you think that his art would reflect that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. And a lot of
Absolutely.
people who are very artistic, um, you have to be in touch with some sort of emotional state. You are not just like on a cold slab of just ice cold with no emotion. It shows out. It shows up in your craft.
Yeah.
Whether like me, I'm a poet. It shows up in my poetry, my painting. Jermaine is a
These
writer
bars.
and be spitting bars. And
Mm-hmm.
the bars that he's spitting also has either it has some validity to truth or things that he may have gone through, and the emotion comes out, whether if it's anger or whatever. You know, same thing with Rich Lamar's transition. You know, he's an artist too. You know, he just does it on a holistic
That's
side
right.
and it shows. So your emotional state is so important because it really negates who you are as a person emotionally. And if you were just like this callous, cold-hearted person, I guarantee you that your art and your comic book wouldn't be as reachable to a lot of people because people would feel that from your characters that you draw, you know. And that
Right.
I think
Like
that's
there's
powerful.
two. I like to think there's many different types of artists, and they only channel like a few,
We just did
through
that.
a few
Wrong.
outlets. One is like through emotion, and the other one is through skill. You
Key
know,
comic book.
and
I
you
found
know
that.
you can. I feel like you can tap in. Like you have more fluidity if you are more in touch with a human on your human side. You're most human as humane as you can be, right? So like when I'm drawing comics, you have to play the role of everyone in that tiny little box. So and it's like acting. Like so I'm going to show you a little bit of my book Home and Worlds Beyond. And I'm just gonna tap into this. Like, so I am this person, I am her, I am him, I am her, I am man, I am this dude. I'm even the monster deck. I'm even these elementals right here. These are the elemental elders, and what they do is they foresee the past, present, and future of um, of certain events, and they are the ones who um, seek out the mission. If there's an fragment in reality itself, meaning anything that is supposed to happen will happen and should happen, and if
Sean,
anything yes,
how old are you, Sean?
I'm 31 years old.
On the,
I said
on
it
the
like
number
if I was
4.
five. I'm 31.
You're 31 on the you're on the number 4 numerology from the numerology chart. And I'm looking at the work and my God's looking at it too. And this thing coming on that. And you showed something a while ago in your book. You call those They call them in those images. You say that you call them what?
The elemental elders.
The elements. So they are avatars then, huh?
Yes, they're pretty much how I pictured it is that they were once human or once a species, and they channeled a certain element all their lives or many of lives, like that story. This is I don't read any religious text, even though I skim through it every now and then. My father was Muslim, my mom is Catholic, and I decided to be a Buddhist, or and a
I'm not
very
laughing at
horrible
that.
one.
I'm looking at this because when we look at the things in
But
the ancient science, they call those orishas in the ancient science. These
hmm,
various energies of representation, and I'm looking at it because every orisha has an energy that it that's recognized by the image and what it does. Everything from
Yeah.
Shango, Issue, Yemiya, or Batu,
Obatala.
uh,
Hmm.
right,
Oya, Oshun, Nanaburuku,
uh,
and the list goes on.
yes.
And they call those avatars orishas that represent a certain energy or frequency that's innately in our being ourselves, you know. And we express these things in our writing, singing, our art. They express through these things because they encompass this the chakra world, our seven chakras in the physical, and the other five in our astral bodies.
And it's crazy, like, people. All right, so I'm happy that you said astro anything. So my godmother, she's very spiritual, and she uses the zodiac and the horoscopes and everything, to channel herself. And as a kid, she would tell me about myself. We both shared the same sign, which is a Virgo. And the funny thing is, you know what? Let's not get into that. But anywho, there people have a bad rap with Virgos, and I looked through it, like, and my birthday lands on the cusp between the end of the Virgo and the beginning of Libra. And I like to think that every sign has a positive and negative sign, right? And like, I don't dig too deep, but the thing is, I love space, and I love, like, sci-fi. So when it comes into that, I just smacked it all in one book with a hint of, like, Japanese anime that I watch. um, but yeah, so in my spiritual sense, like, trying to make sense of all of it, I feel like there is a positive and negative, like
That's true. That's true, man.
the wolf
Yeah.
that you feed,
Mm.
or and at the wolf that you feed, that's pretty much the main source of that story. Like, you
Okay.
either feed in the good wolf or the bad wolf,
Right.
and they follow you all the way through. They don't die. Some days the good wolf is weaker than the bad.
Right.
That's
Um,
balanced though.
That's balance,
right.
and you said because you hit three different levels there, but in the Buddhists, they talk about balance, and they're the closest thing to the science of Ifa, our ancient science, rather than it does not have a savior God concept in Buddhists. It's about you and your walk and your balance with the Creator. Recognize these energies, and the
Right.
thing about it is many people don't realize that that's how you get close to nature. If you understand nature and the cosmos, you know more about yourself and your walk.
I'm glad
Religion,
that you mentioned nature as well.
it detaches you from self, and your spiritual science connect you back to your origin. And
We
it's
talk
hard
about
work.
balance, and we talk about nature. Like, all
Right.
right, so for example, all right, so Virgos are earth signs, right? But when I fall asleep and I put on my sounds and stuff, like if I can't sleep and I just need like the nature sounds or something to put me to sleep, the thing that I love listening to the most is not earth but wood crackling under fire, like 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 a fireplace. Like you'll hear the wood break from the fire and stuff, and that is satisfying to me in my frequency, I guess.
So you
So
astral travel. So you astral
so
travel.
I I don't even know. Like
Yeah,
there's some
yeah,
dreams where
yeah. You
there's some
astral travel. That's what you do. You astral travel, and that's
mm,
what's called out of body experience. You with your artwork, it shows in your artwork. These images
Mm-hmm.
of being you're seeing is in another dimension, and you bring it through your creativity. You're a creator, and in your creativity, you bring in a lot of things you picked up in your travels. In the other
Yeah.
realms.
and that's I'm he's reading me right now. It's like, yeah, you think I'm scaring you, well, you scaring me, man. um, because like I'll tell you one more deep and crazy story. All right, so this happened recently, and I wrote this down. Um, and the only person I actually told this to, and I don't feel like it's like it, I feel like it's deeper than that, but I don't think that it wouldn't be that intimate for me to not share. Um, I had a dream that I got threatened to fight '90s Mike Tyson, and not like modern day. Now I'm more calm than usual, but I'll still punch a hole through your life and your and everybody before and after you life. um Mike Tyson, we talking about like reckless, raw and reckless, Iron Mike
I
Tyson.
eat your kids.
Yes, you remember that video. You remember that? Oh man, that was scary. So he comes up to me. He's like, I'm gonna fight you, and I'm going to really hurt you. And and naturally, what a person like myself would do if Iron Mike Tyson wanted to fight me, bare knuckled, no ref, just street brawl, I'll run. I'm running. I'm going. You know where I live? I'm going. We going. And we going. And I go to a certain place in my head every time, like, my conscience is messing with me. Either I did something wrong or I'm feeling like I need some type of guidance, like, and these dreams keep popping up. And it goes back to my childhood. That's where Home and Worlds Beyond comes from. Like, I'm very open book about everything. I lay it on the table. If I don't lay it on the table, then it does not come as genuine as it seems. So I go back to this place, and this place is not the place that I usually visit in my dreams. It's actually vacant, empty, and in a shambles, right? Um, and it's just me, my girlfriend, and the people that were supposed to be there no longer there, which is my ancestors. My family, my father, my everyone who has passed. And there are some people there that I've never met before, and they're all sitting in this room, usually, but not this time around. So I hear a commotion outside. I go outside, and there he is, Mike Tyson, with a group of people taking pictures of him. And I'm like, hey, why do you want to fight me? Right? So, and he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to hurt you really bad, and you're gonna lose a tooth. And he's like, I'm guarantee you, you're gonna lose some teeth. And I woke up, but instead of being like, what the hell was that? I just felt like deep down inside, like there was something more to that. Like, you know, my ancestors aren't there to give me the answers this time around. It's time for me to have those answers. You
Dude,
know, and you know it, and that, and the big thing that is coming. Am I ready for it? I'm like, all right. So I dealt with COVID. I dealt with losing people left and right. Um, um, and in my line of work, putting them in like body bags and bringing them to the chapel. Like these things actually happen to me, and I'm still drawing and planning on doing things that are I once thought was far beyond my reach is now attainable, and there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a big fight, and and this time around, I have to provide my own answers and my own intellect and my own way towards it. And that's what Home and Worlds Beyond is truly about. It
yeah,
the book is about when you get that calling, like, you know, when you have that power inside you, what are you going to do? What are you going? How are you going to portray yourself? Are you going to step away from? Are you going to step away and let anything and everything happen to you and make another excuse for it? Or are you going to get up and you're gonna knuckle up and fight back?
Hmm.
hey Sean,
Yeah,
Sean, were you aware that you were in the astral
Robin.
dimension? Were you aware that you were in the on the astral
Yeah.
planes? And within that, whatever you want to create, you can create it. That's your subconscious. That's your truth. You know how hard it is for most people to go there? And I know exactly what you're talking
Mm.
about because I've gone through that. The difference is you mentioned Tyson. I had an experience with
Yeah.
Jet Li.
Oh.
He was my favorite. He was my favorite martial arts guy up to this day. I went there.
Yes.
It's called the astral planes. Like I've learned this through listening to Bobby Hemmett. And you said your ancestors were no longer there. What that meant was that you didn't need any more guidance. Within this
Right.
plane, within this plane, the things that guide you there, like say, like Baba mentioned, the Orishas anymore, within this realm, you start to realize that you are the true God. And you have to remove yourself from following these things and take your rightful place.
Mm.
Hmm.
And that shit was scary. Like when it started happening, that shit was scary. Because you don't know what was going on.
Right.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have no idea why or what does this even mean? Like, how do we know each other? How did I slight you? And what are you doing in my house? Like, and and in this dream. But and then like when I woke up,
It's called past
I
life
understood.
experiences.
I
It's called
understood it
past life
completely.
experiences. Past life experiences. Deja vu. Past life experiences in another realm. You know. And I mean to cut in like it, but you got when you said that you realized that your ancestors was not there. Not that you could see physically, but the energy and force was already within you because of your connection through your bloodline to your ancestors. And these are not the immediate ancestors; these are the ones which you before you came to this realm, way before then. The thing
Right.
that you
Like
the
there.
thing that you're writing about is happened in another Dianosphere at another time, and and you experience it on this trip around. And I'm perceiving you've been here before, maybe 5 or 6 times before this time.
You know what?
Yo, Baba, you something serious, bro. Because man, go ahead, Sean.
Sometimes there'll be days where I'm like, I do not belong. Like I told you this before, Jermaine. Like there was when I realized that I did not belong here. I was like, and just
Mm-hmm.
saying like I don't belong here, and I started crying. And my cousin didn't understand when I told him I don't belong here. He thought because at that time I went through a breakup. I went to a new job that I hated, that I realized that I hated, and I was not really doing anything except for just I guess through every elongated breakup, what you shouldn't do, I was doing the complete opposite. I was doing them, going out to parties, spending money, not really focusing on the list that I made the day that I had broken up with this said person. I just wrote the list and I said I'll get to it later, but for now, let me go at it the way that I would expect myself to. So when I turn around and put everything at a halt, it's business and business only. And then I realized that the further I started to like these vices, emotionally, I was a wreck. And then when I stopped the vices, I'm like, all right. And I'm not talking about like cocaine and stuff. I'm talking about drinking, partying, sex, um, uh, just hooking up with one girl after the next, and just spending my money and not being, and still drawing, but not drawing as much as I need to. The moment that I felt like I need to stop and start knuckling down, started investing in myself, that's when things started coming to fruition. But I told my cousin one day, and this is how it happened. I said I don't belong here. I'm sitting in his couch watching movies with him, and I just start crying, and he didn't understand. But he showed me love, like like he hugged me. He was like, "It's gonna be all right." He doesn't even know what's going on for it to whether or not it's going to be all right, but he gave me that comfort, and my cousin.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Not knowing
Yo,
Right.
bro,
not knowing the hell is going on.
we're the weirdos, bro.
Yeah, that's
We're the
Yeah, we're
weirdos.
definitely.
Cause I can relate, King, because I have tracks from old mixtapes that I've done. Like even the name MEN-talRollaDeK, like most people think I just created that shit. Like I was going back
No.
through my old music, and there was a bar in my old music when I'm talking about MEN-talRollaDeK and the sequence in which I put it together and it comes back up. Oh shit, it means balance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's things
Right.
like even that's going on now that I said in my old raps from like 2010. You know what I mean? Come all the way back to that's relatable now. Like I even had a bar when I say cops killing niggas like they billing niggas. That's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we take ourselves for granted, not seeing how powerful we are, King.
Right.
Not knowing, and we fight against ourselves. Like I think I was talking to Baba. I'm like, yo, shit. My conscience say, yo, go right, but I went left, but you still end back up right any way. So start following that intuition, bro, and you'll be on the thing. And I started to realize now the life I'm leading belongs to nobody else but me, no matter what anyone say to you. Any change you want to bring forth within your life is going to start with you, because it's you. It's your truth. You got to start living that. And nobody else will ever understand that. Yeah, some people is on your frequency. So a lot of stuff you're saying, it's not weird. Well, I feel like we all went through this shit. And I'm sitting here, I'm laughing to myself. I'm like, oh shit, I went through that same experience. It just happened to me through my music.
Mm-hmm.
And we lose ourselves within that, listening to everybody else's voices. But we're not here for everybody else's voices. So therefore, your action, you have to move with your action in order to do what you need to do, King. And that it is what it is.
Like, and once you start understanding, you start knowing yourself a little bit more. You start having that relationship with yourself. You start having that relationship with yourself. I realized that I am a good speaker, and it took my girlfriend, who was also my business partner, and soon to be life partner, it took her to like knock that out of me, because she's just like, Sean, you're so charismatic. Why do you freeze when you go on live? Why do you like, why do you do that thing and you don't speak and you're so quiet? And when we first started dating, she called me Silent Sean, and because like me, like I never had a need to talk. So this is the most people will get out of me. I never had like that real need to talk. Me, I like I am third out of 7, technically 8, and if you include my cousin. So when everybody's talking, I'm just being quiet over here. I'm just doing more listening. But if I do say something, I want it to come with some type of meaning, and not to find deepness, but not to try to be deep, but just to say or do something meaningful, And I realized that like sometimes a lot of people like, oh, you're very charismatic, but you also have like this magnetism towards you where you get people to do stuff that they want to do, and like you're very influential, and I just started playing around with that energy. So a couple of months ago, a friend of mine, matter of fact, beginning of spring, a good friend of high school came up to me, and he was like, hey Sean, I don't want to be a police officer anymore. I want to be a voice actor, and I want to do voices for the next big cartoons, and I want to go into this. And I was like, I want to make a cartoon. You should definitely learn. And I'm thinking he gets to live out his dreams, and I get a close buddy who can. I have a close buddy who can just knock out a voice for me. I'm thinking like logically, but when I tell him he should do it, and you should embrace your dreams, because that's all you really got. Money doesn't mean anything, and the cars and the fame and stuff don't mean a damn thing. Like, but if it makes you feel good, like I don't care if I don't make a B. If I don't make a B, that's fine, as long as I'm making enough money to stay home and not do the day job that I'm doing, because I'm doing what I love doing. That's all that matters to me. So when I share that feeling with other people, they feel that empathy, they feel that energy, they feel that vibe, and they go and do it. And now this person is talking with people from Naruto, Dragon Ball, and also Full Metal Alchemist. I can't give out names, but I can give out titles of shows that your kids probably watch, or nieces and nephews that sit down and watch those.
Fam, I watch those shows. Now. I watch those shows.
Right.
You're like, what?
So like, and how, what I would do for myself, I would do for my circle. My girlfriend Jody, she just started doing comic books, and now she's getting the most sales out of the 2 books, because she has a great story. She is artistic, and she's a great writer, and you should pick up that book. If you're going to pick up my book, pick up her book. Definitely, actually pick up her book twice. At first, you already knew the backstory of that book.
Greetings, Queen.
Oh, we have somebody else to join us, huh?
Hi, how are you guys?
Oh, all right.
Greetings.
Another goddess and join the line, huh? All right, guys.
I've been meaning to get on here, but like I don't get on Messenger, so I was missing the messages.
Oh, so I was just sending them for no reason.
I don't get on Messenger a lot. I was like, oh, I was checking days later.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's going on? What are we talking about?
We're talking about Aboriginal men needing emotional support too.
Yeah. I know I heard Pasha earlier. She was making some good points, but I heard everybody speak. Yeah.
So what's your thought on
Sorry.
what's your thought on that?
On emotional, like men need
Support.
emotional support.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I think men need emotional support just like anyone else, and I do think that it's not supported as much as it is with women, and it could be seen negatively from a man, like especially what women or what people define men to be. It could be very problematic, and not helping men to feel safe when they have issues or concerns that they want to speak about. So I definitely was in agreement with a lot of things that Pasha said earlier, just basically saying like how women will correct their sons if they see them crying and, not allow them to be vulnerable. Why it's frowned upon in our community, I don't know. And I won't say in our community because I think it could be global, it could be national. It doesn't necessarily have to be in our community specifically, but I do think that it's hard for us to accept men being vulnerable. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. It's frowned upon, and a lot of women look at it in a negative way. I don't know if you saw that show, or if you guys saw that Lifetime show where it's a Black couple who are together, and he talked about how he had a lot of depression, and he was talking about how he was on medication because he has a lot of depression, and he was talking about how he's emotional, and she was like, I need a manly man. I don't know if I like this. And she really criticized him. And she got a lot of backlash from a lot of people because of her position on that. And he was trying to be vulnerable with her and just trying to open up to her. And it's like the Married at First Sight show where you get married, you don't know the person, you get married to them. And so he felt like safe with her, and he wanted to just share with her, hey, I have this mental illness, and I've been struggling with this. And she really criticized him for that vulnerability. And she really talked about him for being emotional, and she felt like he wasn't a manly man, and she wasn't, she didn't want to be, always supporting him because he's overly emotional. So I was definitely against that. So
I got a question for the goddesses in the room. What is a man? I could take turn to answer that. Like, why do women come? Most women, not all. Let me not generalize.
Yeah.
Why do most women say they want either a perfect man or this amount of man when they don't know what that really is?
I'm gonna go first. Queen, sister, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. But
Thank
just to
you.
kind of, you're welcome. But just to kind of, and this comes from me talking to other sisters, and I think a lot of women, give that title. Oh, I want a manly man, and oh, he got to be a real man, and I like me a thug, and all this type of stuff. A lot of it from female perspective is basically in the bedroom. And and sisters out there, and they can understand what I'm talking about. And basically, it's a stigma that they want in the bedroom, but then when life happens and things start going kind of crazy, this Mendingo beast mode man that's in the bedroom with you can't even sit down and talk to you about what's going on in your life, and can't even give you that shoulder because he doesn't know what that looks like. And I think we have to change our dialogue as females, as sisters, about what it is that we need. And my thing is, I know because I'm I know the type of person that I am, and I have a strong personality, but I'm very sensitive. So I don't. I know I'm a real good judge of character. If I feel like that I can't trust this person with my vulnerable self about things that's going on really personally, it's nothing personal towards them. I just know that I don't trust them with that information because it may come back in a very negative way. And instead of them embracing me and walking me through it or allowing me to be the shoulder to cry on, then you have to, like they say, the Bible quote is, never cast your pearls among swine. So we have to be really careful what we put out there and how we put it out there too. But I always said I need somebody that can bring out the softer side of Shay, the
Mm.
softer side of Pache. I need that balance because I know that my personality can be really, really strong. It can be really aggressive sometimes. But I do have a really softer side. So I need that balance to help nurture that softer side. So what these other females talk about, yeah, I need a manly man. I need this. I don't want no thug. Me and that thug gonna have at it every single day. I do not want a thug. That is not my go-to person. I need somebody that has that has a balance of feminine energy that can treat me with respect, that can treat me with love, that can have enough compassion and heart to listen to what I'm saying. Not just hear me, but listen to what I'm saying. So I think we have to change how we say what it is that we need, and I'm talking about my sisters that's out there, manly man. What the hell does that look like? What is a manly man? I mean, is he gonna come with a cape on his back that got an M&M on the back for manly man? What does that look like?
Manier man.
Hey, my name is Ricardo. I don't cry. I'm hard at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna bang your brains out, and that's what it is. I don't
Right.
touch feet and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's basically what that
I
means.
was
Yeah.
I feel like
Rock your world, girl. Can't put you on it.
oh
Right.
man,
funny
so
thing.
I was
Go ahead.
watching this YouTube video. I don't know if you know these guys. They're from Canada, but they're ABBA and Preach. Jermaine, you ever heard of them?
I probably know
They're
them by face.
they're two Canadian comedians. Canadian comedians who
You
they
talking about
watch
one of them
videos
is
on.
masculine, and the other one is kind of fair skinned, like, and they be talking about like different variations of relationship and stuff. Is that the same ones?
Yeah, I believe so. But there was this one topic on men expressing their sensitive side, their being vulnerable, and they were interviewing certain people on certain videos, and they was like, when a man shows their vulnerability to women, sometimes it feels like they're cheapening themselves.
Mm.
In that sense, like not everybody can get to have access to that. Even with men who are in who are in long lasting relationships, they
Marriages
just
too.
don't. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
and I've seen that happen. Like my grandfather would hit me up, right? I'm always on the go, and one day my grandfather hit me up, and he was just like, you could call somebody sometimes. You know how your grandmother is, and I was like, if that's the case, my grandmother would have cursed me out. In my head, I'm saying that I'm not interjecting like that. I know better, but I'm 31 and I know better. This has gone far too long for me to not to say something like that. But anywho, he goes he goes you should call more because you never know. And I understood that. He was like, even with COVID, like just call a little bit more than usual, not just during holidays and stuff like that. And I felt that, and and I guess that in a way, I felt like that was his way of saying, like, you know, get in contact with you, not with him.
Help
right?
me.
Not even like that, but like get in contact with him. And so at the end of every conversation, every time I talk to him too, you know, I'm not afraid to tell another man that I love them. Like, especially if you're family, like, hey, yo, I love you. I'll talk to you later. And so, and even that, like, I was like, all right, I'll talk to you later. I love you. Bye. And he goes, yeah, all right, I'll see you later. You know? and I do it all the time, even though, like, because I want him to hear that. Like, even if I don't talk to my family as much, and like most of the elders, they don't express that as much. My dad expressed that to me, and he'd be like, "Oh, my son, I love you very much," you know. And that's how my dad was. He was very in tune with his emotions. If he was mad, he was pissed the fuck off, and if he was happy and joyous, he'll let you show it. And he was cut from a different cloth, and his silence intimidated a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about my dad, it's like it seems like I'm talking about two different people, but I'm actually just talking about one. And you know, his father was like very stoic, and he was not so in tune. So he made sure that when he expressed his love for, he was definitely 100% sure, and he was 120% verbal about all of that. And that was the thing, and that's why I felt like, you know what, we as men have to be very open about how we feel, or it's going to be too late. A lot of wars started because of how we feel, or a lot of great relationships ended, or it came out to be domestic violence because no one expressed how they truly feel. Like, you know, if I'm getting hurt, like if you say something that hurts me, I'm gonna be like, yo, that hurt my feelings. That kind of fucked me up. Or I'll be very mad, and it's like, you know, if I don't say anything, that's when I'm at my most pissed. But you know, like even in relationships, my own relationship too, like, you know, a girlfriend would be like, speak on it. Say it. Say how you feel. Say it with your chest. And when she's feeling and vice versa, be like, speak on it. Say it with your chest. I'm like, go ahead, because you gotta say it. I know you want to say it's on the tip of your tongue. Just let it go. And she would tell me that. And, you know, at first I would be like, you know, if I express this, I know, and I don't want to have to go through the hassle. But sometimes you have to go through the hassle, and sometimes you have to let that person know. It's communication. So how is somebody supposed to know how to help you if you're crying for help and through silence? Not everybody is analytical. And I think for women, and how it becomes taboo for them is that we allow that behavior to happen. Like I can't stop another person from feeling how they feel because I'm not addressing it correctly. Now, if you like, you know, the first time I got so upset that I cried in front of my girlfriend, and like I'm in tears, and I'm like tears of anger, and I'm just laying out my shit. She didn't know what to do. She, like, you know, I was like, yo, sometimes you could be cold, man. Like, you don't have to be that cold. And she didn't really understand. And then after the tears and everything, she understood. And I told her I'm a sensitive guy. I'm gonna let those feelings out whether you like it or not. You don't like it, then there it is. That's it for us. But I'm going to express my feelings because I know what happens when I don't.
Yeah.
I am I'm not balanced. I am the worst. And I'm actually super petty.
Yeah, that was me. That was me back. That was me a couple years back, King. Like, have you?
But
Is it just me?
yeah.
If y'all had anybody ever had their significant other take them in the shower and just tell them to scream, like let's just scream together because you have so much pent up anger inside of you? Like, I've been in a house and walked past Shorty for a week straight without saying nothing. I would come in and I would say good evening because that's how I was raised. Say good evening and address the room, and that's it. Nothing else. I go play with my kids and I walk past her. And then, and then at the end of it, she snapped. You're not talk to me, and we're in the same. I'm like, yo,
right?
Get up on. Those are past relationships, bro. Because like, when you're vulnerable, some women use it against you.
Right, and that's the scary part, and like, that's the scary part for us men. Like, you know, we like because like that person you give your confidence to, and they pass it along to you. They pass along that information, and then you walk into that room, right? And then you find yourself in a situation where they all looking at you, or at least you feel like they're looking at you a certain way, like, we know everything about you.
Yeah,
crying at night, but now, like, you know, like in the beginning of a relationship, like you know, like let me lay this on the table, like, you know, her family, like, he doesn't look tough. Like, he got spaghetti arms and he has bright eyes, and like he kind of looks boyish and immature. All correct. All correct. All correct.
But
at first I was
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was saying sometimes when you're emotional, people see emotions as weakness, and men don't appear to be weak. And so women, when we're emotional, men see that as like, oh, like we're also a target to some men for that. You know, when we're vulnerable, when we open up. And so I think that you bring up a good point, Sean, because a lot of men don't like to open up and they don't tell you how they feel. So it's very difficult for you to even navigate through their emotions. And like he said, like, I don't know your name. I'm sorry. The host, what's your name?
Jermaine,
the host. Okay. I was like, wait, what's his name? Well, just like he said, he will stonewall and just walk right past his partner and won't speak to her. And instead of sharing how he feels about something, like that's how he protects himself. And men oftentimes they don't let us in. So, but also women do use that to attack people, their masculinity too. So it's hard. Like, how do we create this balance where, we create a space where men can share and we don't attack masculinity based on emotion?
Right.
Societal norms. It's societal norms. It's not like something that was just created. It's just this whole idea of what a man should be, what it means to be a man. And all of that is created from, it could be, I think it's religion is the base of a lot of, gender roles and masculinity and assigning feminine and qualities to women. So I think that's the start of it, but it's just ingrained in society. So where do we go?
Can I say this?
Right. She hit the nail on top of the head. She busted that nail.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
That's it.
Can I? Can I say this?
Go ahead.
You know, it's why I never like expressing myself to certain women, especially my mother. Be like, she never keeps it. That's one. And two, y'all want to change. Y'all want to change shit up. Like, what if I'm in my head and it's just a blank room? You be like, let me in. Then you want to come hang shit up in the room, and I just want the room to be blank. Y'all want to hang curtains and all this. Y'all want to make it all colorful. I just want it to be black and white.
I get what you're saying. I get it completely. So basically, stop me if I'm incorrect. So basically, what you're saying, that you're in your head, right? And you need either to have some type of decision to be made, and you just want your voice to be heard, or you just want to hear your voice. You just want to be in your head, however you put in your head. So you let them in, and then all of a sudden, boom, there is a ink blot that you did not tend to have in that wall or in that blank canvas of how you want things to be in your head. I get what you're saying, and you know what? At the end of the day, you have a relationship with this person. Sometimes that there's going to be more than one, and you gotta let them in. But the thing is that it goes both ways. It definitely goes both ways. What you don't see, what you're doing, you're putting ink blocks in them too. And I had to learn that.
Yeah.
Like I had to figure that out. Like, you know, like when you stick with someone long enough, that person that you met before will never be the same. Each and every day, you wake up,
Yes.
you wake up and say good morning. You go to sleep and say good night. They carry your habits too, and they will carry your habits just by nature and the natural order itself. It has happened.
Yeah.
She like I shit you not. There's certain things that she is doing that I know that I would do, and then she know, and she and vice versa. She'll catch me saying or doing some shit. And she's like, "Oh, you're learning." I'm like, this is wrong, and that's how it goes. It's that wide variety and that and that untapped, unlimited amount of information that you are giving to that person.
Fam.
How
Are you
fair is it?
willing?
How fair is it though to have a whole behavior change, but then not even want to acknowledge it, or you want your partner to ignore it? Like you cannot.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to be like, you know, a reciprocal, like you said. Like, okay, if you're going to be in your own head, then you need to behave normally and act as if nothing else is going on. You cannot be in the house sitting in a dark room by yourself with the lights off and just be like, ignore me and let me be in my whole. No, like your
Right. No.
energies of happiness and
Right.
No. Nah,
Right. Because you're at this moment, look, you're like a whole mood now. So you're a whole mood now, and you're changing the whole atmosphere. Something got to give.
But look, but
You
it's
gotta open
funny.
your mouth and say something.
But that's
Right.
funny. But that's funny because where we screw up as men is that I will come up like, "Yo, closed mouth don't get fed," but I want to keep my mouth closed. And you're right; they do reciprocate what we give off. And the crazy thing, most of the arguments, the funny shit is that you see so much of the person in you, and they're exposing you. Because they can see the back of your head and you cannot. That's what pisses you off. Like, yo, you're too much like me. Be like, yo, I can't have me walking around looking at me a certain way. Because the universe is so dope, King. Like, that person will start looking like you. Go outside, people be like, yo, that's your sister? That's how long you've been in a relationship and stuff like that. So it's crazy. The energy is crazy. And as a man.
Somebody hit me with that. There was like, why? I'm like, one day I was just like, why? When we were in an argument, like she's exposing everything that I feel, and she knows. She was like, she knows you. It is as natural as that. She knows you, and also you're becoming that person. You're becoming her, and she's becoming you, and. You know, even if like the relationship is shitty, you become that person. You carry on certain traits, and whether you like it or not, it is going to be reciprocal. It's going to go both ways, and like I said, naturally. You know, you hang out with 5 smart people, you are going to be the 6th. You hang out with 6 rich people, you are going to be the 7th. And so on and so forth. It's like that with relationships as well. I feel like you know, when the person starts to understand you a little bit more, that's the oneness that priests, ministers, and people who ordain, and you know, who does like marriages and stuff like that. That's that wholeness, or that unified link that they talk about. And it's as simple as that. And sometimes, like, you'll have it and it'll be positive. It'll be like, and you'll have it and it'll be negative. It all depends on what you put in to this relationship. So yeah, I have shitty days. I have amazing days, you know, and she has shitty days and she has amazing days. And then sometimes we both have it, or sometimes it'll be both, but we try to pick each other up every now and then. Like I said, it's far from perfect. And then to put that into business, you have to even work twice as hard, you know, because she is the vice. She is the VP of this of my company, or our company, and I shouldn't say mine. I should when I'm saying the single or in plural, because she's in the other room listening.
You're on the couch later, buddy. Couch.
Yeah.
Get your pad and go on the couch later, buddy.
You think that's crazy? You think that's crazy? Like, you know, she like she is the polar opposite of what I a guy would perceive a woman to be, and that's why it's so easy for me to open up about my emotions and stuff like that. And it's so easy to open up about things that are labeled taboo in society. I like to think there shouldn't be a hindrance at all.
You know we're dumb,
came in
right?
by your, huh?
You know men is dumb, right? And no. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm generalizing. Us as men, we're dumb. Women pick up on that shit way quicker than we do. We'll even go as so far as to sabotage that shit. To touch base on what you were saying prior to, before my mom interrupted me.
Wait. As per what? Like, get back to
me, because you was talking about you was talking about the balances relate how the mimicry and the balance. Sometimes she has her down days and you have your up days, and go a little further back pertaining to the situation and just being silent and so on and so forth.
Right. So yeah, like, you know, though, like, even though we have those bad days, or sometimes I will have those bad days, my feelings do not interfere with how I actually feel. Yeah, best friends, we argue all the time. Best friends argue all the time about little stuff, like, you know, or big stuff. But if the connection is genuine, if you feel that it's genuine enough to keep going, and you feel like, you know, this is like, I mean, all other in the exception of cheating, you just sabotage yourself, you know. But I'm talking about the nitpicking, the nagging, the not leaving the toilet seat down after, or throwing out the trash sort of things, those little things.
Tell me about it, bro.
Or like the clipping of the toenails on the
Come
bed.
on, guys. You want to come on, talk, guys. I see you grinning. You want us go on, help us out.
You know, like,
you know, because men also do that. They nitpick.
Yeah,
not just women. And so we can't assign it just to a.
Yeah. Nitpicking is emotional nitpicking, though. Like,
no. I'm not.
You don't think so?
I'm not generalizing just for men. I'm saying,
okay.
I mean, not just for women. I'm talking about for men too. Like, cause I'm anal about mine. I'm like, trust me. She's like, all right, Captain Technical. Right. I have, and I'm sometimes I'm very one-track minded. And sometimes she's like, yo, you gotta be like water. You gotta learn how to adapt. You can't be upset if they want it. Like, if you're drawing something, they want it this way, but you know it worked this way. You can't be upset at that. And sometimes I'll show my ass.
Yo, bro, and that's why I said us as men, we're dumb, because women pick up on that a lot quicker. Because, you know, sometimes how we trying to be guarded, like you said, you're showing your ass, and sometimes they're going off on a tangent, but what they're going off on a tangent about is going to amplify what you're showing your ass about, right? And if only you just look at it the way they're looking at it, step your ass back and look at it the way they're distributing it, you will see exactly what they're seeing it. Because in order for you to be great as a man, King, you got to have a great woman behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just is what it is.
Behind or beside?
Beside, I'm glad you said that because I was getting ready to say that.
I knew you. I knew he loaded a gun and he's ready to fire. Beside, no behind. That's the problem, man.
Yeah, beside.
Y'all are the most strategic, manipulative planners. I don't know a lot of dumb men. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that's a perception try to create. But y'all are very calculated.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Extremely intelligent. Y'all are not dumb at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that people don't give y'all enough credit.
Don't tell them that.
I'm telling all the secrets.
Yes, tell it. Tell it.
Okay, because you guys are very, very, very intelligent creatures. Very intelligent.
Yo, I'm trying to hide. I'm trying to go back. You know, Sean, like, you know how you push somebody away so they don't see it? She was like, nah, you're not getting away with that.
I wouldn't let you get away with that at all. I'd be like, no, you're highly intelligent.
Hey, Baba, why you hiding?
I'm affirming you every time you said that. Like, no, you're highly intelligent.
Baba, help.
I'm being silent because
he's like, Baba, help.
Yo,
you did it.
No, hey, Sean, his goddess is behind him too, so he can't even say nothing too tough.
I'm afraid mine beside me. No, she will not refuse to go behind me. I can't be beside you. I'm Lydia's daughter. If I can't be on the side or front, I'm not there at all. And
that's right.
Realize some sisters who have that Lydia spirit, and some got that Eve spirit. And I tell you what, they ain't to be played with. Trust me.
Yes, he's sure right about that.
They ain't the one, you know. I'm listening to Shay. Shay is a Taurus like myself, you know. The feminine side of what I am, the masculine, you know. And I'm reading a lot of things, but I'm listening to this, and this is beautiful because we still miss the fact. What's the old saying? If you feed them long enough, they'll look like you.
That's right. Yeah, you feed them long enough, they'll look like you.
Well, what about when you land beside each other and you sharing energy through osmosis? You're creating each other's reality by laying in the bed. And when you come together in intimately sex and you're transferring fluids, you're taking on energy. And that energy manifests. And these things, not only that, it gets into your psychic. Then that thing called a phantom sperm. Even when you're not with them, you still miss them.
Ooh, you better speak, Baba.
So this thing is deeper than just what we think it is. It goes beyond the physical. There's a chemistry that goes on there.
Beyond the thought.
Like, I like Rich Lamar was saying. The world beyond the world, my home beyond how they got it going, Sean. Home
beyond.
Home and world beyond. That's like Rich book, living beyond stress and hurt. All these beyond. You know what you're talking about?
Beyond thought, yeah.
You know what you're saying? Home beyond. Beyond what? Beyond the surface. Beyond the very thought. It's unimaginable, this word I'm talking about. I'm trying to take, and I'm looking at the sister. She said that her wheels are steady turning. Tawana, I'm looking at your eyes and your head and expressing on the face. I'm going, so yeah, she loading up. She loading up.
Yep, yes she is. Yes she is. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm definitely not. But you know, so a lot of people when they see me, like they don't know that, you know, I was married for 10 years and you know, I got a divorce 4 years ago and now I'm in a 3-year relationship. So I've just been through so many different things. But I was listening to you and Sean, you know, just kind of, you know, understanding like those different dynamics that happen. The chemistry, all those different things are absolutely true. And you know, and relevant, like, even though I am no longer married, when I was, though, we, you know, like he knew me so well and I know him, you know what I mean? So we had that connection. We have 2 children. So it's always still gonna be a relationship, right? You know, even if the marriage ends. But yeah, there, you know, a lot of different dynamics. So I was just listening and observing, you know, but I called, you know, like I had to call Jermaine out when he was, you know, kept saying that men were stupid. Because I'm like, no, y'all not, you know.
Thank you, Tawana. Thank you, Tawana. I appreciate that.
I can't let him say that one more time. You know?
Because he said it about 5 times. He did. He said it about 5 times. You know.
I mean,
I like to.
Let me put this right. You know, we set this straight.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that like most men, including myself, we do dumb things. We smart, but we dumb sometimes. Like we need, you know, a little knock in the head. Like, hey, listen, because there are things that go over our heads too. Like, you know, and we're not talking about dumb as in like we're unintelligent, but you ever been blind, deaf, and dumb? Like you see it. And it just doesn't register.
Yes, and you walk over it. You just step over it, like
you walk over it, right? Like exactly. It just does not hit your psyche. It does not hit your radar, and then you end up being like, "Yo, wake the fuck up!" and like, where's your head at? What's going on? And they do the thing with the hand, you know, when they snap.
Yeah,
that thing like. Where's your head right now? And you have to be like, oh, what did I miss? That's me sometimes, you know, like. But we can't be calculated and play dumb.
Let me tell you what I used to do.
I'm laying there all in
it's a balance, also. I mean, we both can't be. We both can't always, you know, deep think and think in the future. Like, there's got to be some balance. There's got to be some individuals that, like, you know, you guys are prisoners of the moment, maybe, and women, we're forward thinkers, and that's just generalizing because not all women are forward thinkers, right? Sometimes the men are the forward thinkers, and the women are the prisoner of the moment. So I just think that it's got to be balanced in the relationships, and that's great to have that balance.
You said prisoner of the moment?
Uh-huh.
Like prisoner, like
can't think beyond that moment, right? You
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
You have to think day by day. Yeah, it's just like this is what I'm thinking about in this moment. I'm not thinking about anything outside of that. And women, we don't like most women, we don't think like that. We are thinking about the next step, the next day, next year, what we gonna do. Like we can think about all of that in one moment. Whereas you all just be thinking about whatever it is that's going on right then in front of you.
Right.
Like
we're more present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A man could sit there and not say nothing for hours. Like, is he still alive and stuff like that? Like, and it's funny you said we're manipulative, and I agree. I concur with that because I used to like there's certain women I used to deal with, and you can tell when her hair was done. It was always and I'm like, what's wrong with you? A bug going around your head? And like for hours, you did like, yo, you see, I get my hair done. Like I normally do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was going out with this chick, like her mom, like I came to pick her up. We was going out in the day, and then her mom stood there and see if I was gonna open the door. She was in for a rude. She's like, I'm gonna talk to you when you get back. She was in for a rude awakening. I opened that door for her. And I'm like, you know, I did that deliberately, right? She's like, yeah, my mom's going to get you. And this was the petty me. I was younger. This wasn't at 23. I'm 36 now. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've done seen and grew a lot. You know what I mean? But the younger me was petty. You know, and in the analytical format, like, what you wanted, I would not give it to you. At all.
Wow.
And I hate the nagging.
Like, you hate the nagging.
Like me.
But do you do things to stop the nagging?
Yeah.
Or do you
stop the nagging?
I do.
That's the thing.
I have my moments.
That's the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing.
Same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. That's right.
You gotta change up the delivery if you want the woman to respond differently, right?
And that's where accountability. That's where accountability comes into play. You know.
And you know what? And like that's been happening as of late, and like it's like, is it me? And like I gotta be doing something completely, like, because it's like I'm always getting caught and it's always being told, and I'm like, okay, all right, God, all right, and but you know what? Like now I know.
But when is enough enough,
It's
though?
like, you know, when is enough is when you make it enough. Change only happens when you get tired of it.
No.
That's
But
right.
when you
get
make,
tired of,
you ever make those changes though, King? And when you make those changes, right, it's like they're so stuck on the past, they don't see the changes, so they keep bitching about the past, not seeing the growth that you done transform in front of them. So the whole time it's like you're walking on eggshells, right? And you be like, you're fighting like, yo, fam, I done changed. But it's like they're stuck within that you, like, oh no, you didn't.
but
I'm
how,
gonna tell you what I tell my
how
boyfriend. It's immediate gratification for you guys. It's like, can you be consistent
Right.
for a longer than a week before I do
Right.
you?
Ah, there you go.
And I just
Right.
like,
That-
how you want to be cool for a week where you did good. You brought me some flowers. You've been attentive. This, that, and that. And so I'm just supposed to forget 3 years of you acting a little fool. Like, no,
Right.
that's not how it goes. You have to be consistent, and then that woman will give you your props. I'm sure of it.
Hey, Baba, don't be agreeing
Right.
over here, bro.
Look, man, I told you I was walking into a harness nest and you wasn't listening. They setting you up.
Oh, that's why you silent.
There's no setup. There's no setup. But I just can't. I got to listen to this whole rationale. You know, you got to call them out. You got to say,
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know, you got to stop feeding to that madness. You know, expecting a different scenario to play out. So I try to do the best I can. You know, and that's all it is. You know, do the best you can. Be your best self.
Brother. You cannot make sudden change. The first thing you say, what have you done? You bring flowers and candy one day, you ain't been bringing nothing. All of a sudden you bring candy together. So what have you done? What have you done? Come on, tell me you've done something. You know,
Hey.
you gotta. I feel like when it comes to that, when it comes to that, I'm speaking like if I know a thing or two. I don't, but I just know from experience. I like, you know, the changed behavior doesn't include never needs the sorry. The first thing you give is the apology, and then from but your sincerest apology is your changed behavior, is how you present everything. So like, you know, if that became a big thing, then it will not be a big thing anymore. Not because I'm gonna make a bigger thing, and sometimes the bigger thing does occur, but I'm saying more of like a changed behavior. I'm not going to do this to you because it's not it, because I know what it will do to you.
That's right.
You know, like, so sometimes we have to surrender our way of thinking, because now you're in a house of two. Now you're in a situation of two. Now, like, it's not just your life. It is somebody else. And sometimes you know, that can be a little bit hard because we only live in our own vessel, and at the same time, like, you know, like, you think it's not a big deal, but this person thinks this is World War III. You just started up some fucking warfare that it's not going to end well for you. And
got a question for you.
I feel it all the time. Yeah,
got a question. We're talking about this. Yeah. When do we let society dictate to us how to do in our relationship?
When?
Yeah.
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry.
Why do sometimes we let society dictate what goes on in our relationship?
Yeah.
Because it is fish love. Like, think about it, like an immediate fish love.
Okay.
This rabbi once said it, called fish love, meaning, like, you know, you gobble it up. It's delicious. You gobble it up and it's gone. It's gone to the bone. And then you get another fish.
Yeah.
that's fish love.
The reason I say that,
yeah, tell me what
like
examples. I'm interested in some examples. What do you mean by like society dictating what goes on?
Well, it's Valentine. I didn't bring you no candies and no teddy bear. And now you ain't gonna make love tonight. And you ain't gonna cook for a week. Now come on, what's the problem?
Let me answer.
What I'm talking about now. You want to play with me? Okay. Valentine, you get no candy, no teddy bear, and I don't get no love because you mad and hell and don't cook for a week.
So do you do this on just a normal day then?
I do it year round. We don't.
Okay. Well then you do it year round.
Yeah, but see, but a lot of folks get caught in now. If you ask on why
they do.
So what did Baba get you for your birthday? Oh, nothing. Are you crazy? Is he on the couch? Or what did he get you? I didn't get caught in the gift and things because I give to you all the time, every day. I'm giving you something. Love, time, compliments, encouragement. Because I failed to do something
right. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be seasonal.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is what I would say. Don't do it to court the woman. Then make it
exactly
consistent.
Well, see,
right.
You're right. Because the way you start out, the way you end up, I didn't start out that way. The only thing I did the day that I met her and we were married, I had to let her go design her own wedding ring and pick out the stones, and that was it.
You know what's funny?
You know what?
Go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just about to say, one of the things, just to kind of piggyback on what Baba and Tawana were talking about, just mentioning, when you start out a certain type of way, and you're opening doors, and you got the chivalry going on. You're considerate. You're talkative. We have great conversation, and then we 3-4 months in, and all of a sudden, I'm standing outside in the rain and you in the car. You don't open the door no more. The little small things that you would do that I got used to, and I I'm one of those type of people. I do the same thing because I'm very kind-hearted, So I offer my heart, and so when that happens, and then all of a sudden everything just drops. When everything just drops and that the real person shows up, because it wasn't really a part of them in the first place. It was just them luring me in to rope me into this relationship. That's what I call it. Rope me into this relationship. And now that you showed, now that the real you showed up, and I'm really like, I don't like this nigga. I like the other dude. Can you bring him back? You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. I'm like, well, where you come from? How I end up with you,
that's funny you said that. It's funny you said that because I was gonna speak about what the female do in that aspect. So it's funny you're talking about the male version of it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it so long. That's why you got to get real. And don't start no way that you're not going to continue with. You understand?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's both ways, male and female.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Because my children, I have 10 girls. I have 10 girls and 4 boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, baby girl.
Wait, you said 10 girls?
I have 10 girls and 4 boys. 14 kids.
14 kids.
Yeah.
Womanizer.
Yeah, you call to Warner. But I make sure my lineage continues.
There you go, Baba. Go ahead, Baba. Go ahead. Because I gotta hear what you're about to say. Go ahead. Go ahead and spit a jewel.
And watching my young girls grow up and dealing with their moms and things like that, I learned a lot how to deal with the feminine energy and how to operate within it. If you're not going to start out like that, don't fake it. Be real. And I watch young men come to my house to date my daughters. Let me tell you, anybody marry my daughter, you in for a hard ride, because they ain't gonna play. I'm not gonna play with you when you come there, and they ain't gonna play with you when you get in, because they seem to drop you like a hot potato the day after they get together. If they marry you tomorrow, they'll divorce you the next day. They ain't going for it.
Yeah.
And I raised them like that.
Yep.
Don't be nobody's pawn, because that little 3 or 4 seconds shaking in the bed, and that so-called feeling you get, it'll pass. But how I treat you when you're down on your back and you need somebody to stand by your side, in your moment of suffering. Then the test come to life. You
There
know,
you go.
a lot of
Yeah.
We got some
a lot
love
of
for
time
us.
we hit the door. You know, you there for the good time, but when the bad time comes, you know where to be found. That is a strong relationship.
That's the
Yes.
That's
honeymoon.
good.
That's the honeymoon
You know
phase in the
what?
beginning.
That goes to that whole protecting Black
No,
women
it,
and that
it could be
missing.
even after the honeymoon, way after the honeymoon phase. I went on, and this is how I know he's speaking facts, because I went into a 6-year relationship, and then after my father passed away, and I was in a rut. I mean rut, drinking, don't know what to do, and like I'm just like I became the I'll get to it, just not doing what I love doing, drawing and stuff like that, and when I was at my lowest, she was not there to pick me up. And the funny thing is, before when he was in the ICU, she whispered something to him, and I was in the room, but I was outside the window, and I was like, "What did you whisper?" I still don't know to this day, and you know what? I'm glad that I don't, because it would have just made me very upset. But anyway, yeah. So if they cannot be with you all the way to that those type of tests, then they ain't for you. You know, I literally, like, this is how I knew that you know, my girlfriend right now, this is the person I need to be with, because even when she gets into my heart and soul, and I feel like, and my ego is being tested, my logic is being tested, and everything about me is being rearranged, and sometimes I don't feel like I feel unsure, but and then I just trust it, and it's okay, and I'm fine, and I'm still my whole self. I still express myself the way. If anything, I felt like I became better. I became a better person, and vice versa for her. And when I first met her, in like really got to see her, because the first time we met, apparently I snubbed her, and I did not snub her. I was signing posters and books at the table and doing commission drawings at my very first show, and she came by and said hi to me, and I had my head on the table, like, you know, my head down, and I'm drawing, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" But I didn't really see her. I didn't take notice. But when I actually saw her, I knew this is the person I had to be with, not just because of looks, because of what she brought in, that valuable thing that people saw and just passed by, because of who she is and what she stood for and what is she standing for right now. I wanted that amplified, because I want her to be her best self, because my future, not just my future as a whole self, but my future life depends on it, and I want the best. I want to be with the best, and that's not selfish or shallow at all, because I want the best for her too. So I'm going to be my best self for her. And
If you
so
can't, if you can't be an asset, don't be a liability.
exactly. And so people think it's just it's and when you're talking about society way of loving, people think it's very shallow to think about money, finances, logic, and this, that, and the third, and what you can bring into the table, and what is the best side of you. But to have those tests, and like when it comes to financial, can you supply and stock a fridge? Can you work double shifts when shit gets hard? Can you do an extra commission when funds are low? Can you do something new to grow something? Can you water this person when this person needs watering? Can you do that? Sure, then stick around. If not, get the fuck out. And that's how she's been with me ever since I met her. And even when we went, she said, "You do this with me. You're mine, and we grow together. You show any stagnation on my process, then that's it. And it's
Now,
no
on
hard
my
feelings, but that's how it is."
Yeah.
And
Wow.
she was serious.
Holding each other
I mean, that's
accountable.
a tough question.
Yeah,
You know what? You
exactly,
have
all
to
the
ask
time.
yourself. Yeah, you have to ask yourself, do a person bring value to my
Yes.
life? And And if they don't, you really do have to end the relationship. And I think I got to a point in my marriage where it was like, okay, this person is not bringing value to my life. It doesn't matter how much I love him, how dedicated and loyal I am to this relationship. This person doesn't bring value to my life at all. And I have to be real with him and me, you know, because we both need to move on and be with people who bring value to us, because this is just, we're just stagnant, or actually we were declining, getting worse, you know? And so it's like, it was so many different factors that played a role in that decision. And honestly, when I decided to leave, I was unemployed. And it speaks to what Sean was just saying, was that I was unemployed and I was the breadwinner before that, meaning that I made the bulk of the income in the house, you know, so I paid like the big bills, right? But when I lost my job, obviously that was like a huge blow to our finances and to our situation. And I was receiving unemployment, but you all know how that is. That's not a lot. And so when I was receiving that, he was still expecting me to pay everything. Like, he did not step up and say, okay, let me start doing this, let me start doing that. It was like I was still supposed to be accountable for car notes, the bills, this, that, and it's like he wasn't really, you know, hey, I see that you're missing here. Like, now I'm gonna be full time with my job. Let me start to step up. And once I realized that, I was like, this person is not gonna be there for me when things happen to me. You know, like when something happens, he's here for me while I'm able to help him get ahead and be where he want to be in life. But when I'm struggling and I need support, I don't have it. So that's a tough question, but I think that's the overall.
And that's 85% of our social marriages we have today. They count on the female to bring in the bread and carry the bills. That's what society is. You know why it's like that? You ever thought about why it's like it? You said it earlier. Look at it again.
It could be a combination of things. I mean, obviously.
You said religion.
Society.
You not know that it says in Isaiah 41 there will come a time be 7 women every 1 man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the time we're in now. It's almost 19 females to every 1 male. And most of them are breadwinners.
Mm-hmm.
So there again, society dictates how strong a relationship is. You got to really be strong and determined to make it in society. And now with COVID and kicked in, you got to find new ways to earn an income.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be creative. And if you're not, you could be out there on the corner shaking the cup or on the pole, trying to shake a little other parts.
You know,
hey.
Or you can create masks and hand sanitizer.
Hey, Prashay, you remember your brother said something great. He said a taker never stop taking until you stop giving, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And you do have certain women that does this as well. And they watch these bullshit shows such as You Love It Hip Hop, and they watch these housewives of whether Atlanta or California, wherever, and they feel like their life's supposed to be like that. And I'm looking at you like, yo, fam, what are you contributing towards? You know what I mean? Helping yourself, your life becoming like that. Like your shit is like, it's a fairy tale, it's a fiction. But yet you want to keep taking and take and take till you can't take no more. Even when you get, you still want more on top of it.
I want to ask this question. When do you know? I heard Tawana, you made a good statement. You was married for 10 years.
I'm almost done.
And at one point, you come to a point that it was no longer productive, but it became toxic, and you had to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose you was married 38 years, and your husband come in one day, say, "No, baby, we've been married. We've been together 38 years, but we only been married 5 years. I'm going to find somebody. You need to get somebody else." What do you do then?
Man. Oof.
Richard Pryor.
You said
the car.
You said something that's against my whole being, though. I would never be with somebody that long and not be married. That's just never.
No, but remember, you got children, and you trying to do that for the children's sake, and going to raise the babies and all the excuses. And 38 years go by. Now the kids are grown.
Now we only been married 5 years, and I've been with you 38 years.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna happen. But let me just explain if that do happen to me. Okay, but I'm just gonna let you know that that's absolutely. I don't care how many kids we got. You move on. I will move the hell on. Like my life, no, thank you. Oh, you don't want to get married to me? You don't want to get married to me? No problem.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because
remember,
listen, you know, my mother. Let me tell you, my mother had 3 kids.
Yeah.
She had 3 girls. And she been married 3 times. My mama ain't never had a problem finding a man. So I just don't believe that a woman will have a problem finding a man. Like I'm not one of those women. I don't believe that. I'm like, oh no, I'll be all right. I'll move on. But if I was to be in a situation like that, what do? You can't do anything. Because one thing I won't do is keep a man, like try to keep a man around me that doesn't want to be with me. I just won't force anybody to be with me. And I know that that's against, people say you're supposed to fight for your marriage, right? You're supposed to make it work. But I just like that maybe be coming from a divorce, and I just feel like you only have one life. That YOLO thing is real for me. And I'm like, look, if I'm not happy, if you're not literally, if you don't want to be in this relationship, if you're not willing to give me your 100%, because it's not 50%, like we both have to bring 100%. And if you're not willing to do that, then I can't force you. I won't force you.
And so, and the sad thing about that is, once again, society, you're in a position in society where people are looking at you and your relationship, and they got you designed as the ideal couple. And all of a sudden, to save face, you try to avoid letting people down, and you compromise your happiness, and you live in a self-made prison to please people because you're in a position in life as a leader, and people are looking at you for leadership. Your life is falling apart at home, and you're trying to keep it unified in the front. So you go through the hellfire and damnation to please people's perception of what a perfect marriage is.
Right.
That's what I was talking about. When that happened, I was a pastor of church, been pastoring a number of years, and my wife and I have been together. We've been married 38 years, but one day she decided she was tired of being married. You know, and I'm leading people, I'm pastoring a church, right? Now I got to decide one to look saints. The first lady decides she's tired of being married.
Wow.
Yeah. Now you trying to follow that pill.
Hey man.
What did you do? What did you do?
What did I do? I took the divorce and got somebody else.
Right. You moved on, right?
Right. But check it out. Well, wait a minute. Now here come the kicker.
Peace.
Before she left, though, she picked my other wife out for me.
Yes, she did.
Did she get remarried? Is she remarried, or do you know?
She just remarried 2 years ago, but I've been remarried now 12 years.
Okay. So it wasn't about moving on with someone else. She just didn't want to be married.
She was married. She was seeing somebody else. I call it widowed. I've been through enough of that in previous marriage. No one is blind who will not see. I just close my eyes to it because of my children and grandchildren, and for the sake of public opinion of our status. A lot of times we let status get our ass in trouble.
You also get hung in a court of public opinions.
Right.
Like
so sometimes you got to feel where you are and what you do as what your reaction be to things, because I'm looking at things now, and I'm going like, wow. So I bring this to table because a lot of times these things happen in relationships. It depends where you are in society and where you are in society and how society see you as what moves you make. Yeah. I thought to bring it to the table.
When I was married though, and I was like, when I finally did the divorce, my family were all like taken off guard because they were like, we didn't know you was having problems. I didn't tell anyone about anything that was going on in my marriage. So when I decided to leave him, I was like, you didn't do enough, or you didn't make it work, or did y'all go to counseling? Like, they didn't even know the things that we had already tried. People were just automatically judgmental and assumed that I didn't do enough to save my marriage, or we didn't do enough to save our marriage. So
family will screw your joint up too.
Yeah, they will. Yeah. So I kept be quiet. So I stayed married.
They ain't think about the kids. The church needs you. And my daughter said, Daddy, you just ruined my life. No, I didn't ruin your life. You ruined your life. I'm trying to save mine. I'm trying to live. You know,
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind is everything in a relationship. Okay, what is, no matter what society think, you want peace of mind. If it means being by yourself, you want balance in your life.
And
You know?
and that's funny that you say that, because that's what she's all about. That's what Jody is all about. Um, you know,
Mm.
she doesn't need the company if it's going to compromise her peace.
That's
And
right.
That's
time,
it.
and
Mm-hmm.
time is the greatest asset. If I'm wasting your time, then if I'm wasting my own time, then she thinks that eventually I'm gonna end up wasting hers. And so you have to take that, you got to take that to accountability, right? You gotta be accountable for that. So yeah, what you said was absolutely right. And it's weird because people like will see a marriage that's like, you think, no, this is it. You ride off into the sunset. You put the ring in it. You put the ring on her. She put the ring on you. That's it. No,
It's more work.
actually, that's when the fun starts happening. And sometimes the fun is actually, house burning, you both sitting in it, and like it's your fault. But
That's the
the
fun.
thing
That's the
is,
fun.
Hey guys,
people don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, people are so like very, very at all at like celebrity marriages, and then you see like the Solange thing with Jay-Z and Beyonce. And once I saw that took the rose colored tints off my eyes, and I look at relationships in a whole different level, on a whole different perspective. I think the Obamas, they sleep, when they sleep, they fart under the covers. Michelle be cracking one off, and like, oh, Michelle, what is this? Oh,
You're
oh,
so
crack
funny.
open the window.
hey
Love
Sean,
it.
hey Sean, Biggie
Man,
said it best, man.
yeah,
They bleed just like us. So we need to stop looking at people as like idols and immortal, because
right.
they're a reflection of us. They're flawed too. No matter how much fame they have or how much money they have, guess what? At the end of the day, they got breath in them, they bleed, you know what I mean? They get stressed out and so on and so forth.
They
And
humans.
And they die.
Mm.
And
And they die.
humans we are naturally flawed, all of us.
Yeah.
There is no perfect human. And I don't glorify any relationship. And honestly, when people try to act like their relationships are perfect, I'm naturally skeptical. Like,
Okay. Won't be long now.
Right.
what's wrong with this one? I know,
Won't
and
be
I,
long.
I hate to feel that way, but I really do. And I feel like, there is no perfect relationship. So why advertise that? Be real. Just, we go through struggles, but we get through it. We all of us, we try to partner, we do our best.
Well, religion say you're supposed to live together until your day you die. But I said, then why is divorce in the Bible?
But the death of what though? Death of
Now,
it's so many deaths that you experience before
yeah,
a
but
person
it
actually
says you to death do you part. The
Yeah.
death do you part. Well,
Yeah.
you're right. What death talking about?
Yeah.
So you say,
until
well,
you
Until
until you die,
yeah,
you're no longer until you die, you're no longer a slave.
Some people don't talk for months and years. Some people don't have sex. Some people don't have any communication. Some
they
people
live in separate house.
it's death in so many ways that happen. Like it's death of our sex life. It's death of our communication. It's death of all these different things. So what do I gotta wait till I physically die in order to get up?
It could be the
Yeah,
right. It could be it could. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Say what you said. I was gonna bring a little humor to it. Go
I
ahead.
was saying it could be the death of someone's essence. And now I'm not talking about in the physical. I mean, like, like sometimes like that that makes them, it would be gone. And
it's gone. Yes.
Nowhere. It's just gone.
That's
and
right.
Gone and said when the penis go to sleep and get like a noodle, it's a wrap.
Oh no.
Baba, you better speak it. Speak it, Baba.
No.
with all the EDs and BBs and stuff going on, when that boy when Buford decided he's not gonna rise to the occasion, it's a wrap.
You know what?
Right?
I keep it
Hey,
real.
man.
I keep it 100.
It's the
Seaweed
truth.
the news
It's the
is
truth.
gone.
It's the
Well,
truth.
If you stop having sex with your partner, it's pretty much over.
No, when you
you know
start
what?
when
You know what?
It's a wrap.
hey Baba, when they start wearing those bingo baggies, it's over.
But you know what?
Oh
I'm
no.
glad you all are on here because it'll come a time in life as you get older. I'm 74. When physical sex doesn't matter, intellectual sex is better.
Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah. Yeah.
Physical
Absolutely.
does not matter. You're there because you got someone that love you beyond the sex, and you got someone that's there for in your old age that you can go to and you can talk to that can be there for you. So it goes beyond that. Now I can say because I'm 74, you know, and I ain't trying to be no good.
Okay, but tell me, when does that age? When do you get to that age? Is it an age or is it a point in your relationship with sex?
At a certain time in life, physical thing come into place will let you know, and something comes into action at a certain age. Certain health conditions, medications affect a lot of things.
Right.
A lot of things that we take with high blood pressure and diabetes affects the ability of the man. And I had one buddy, he was so hard on trying to stay 17, he overdosed on Viagra. And when they found him, he overdosed on Viagra and had a major heart attack and got out of here early. You know? I tell anybody, try to stay within your lane. Get with somebody that you can be compatible with. As you get an old age, it's not about how well you rock her world physically, but how she rock your world mentally.
That's right.
Hey, and sometimes it's okay to go hard for 3 minutes. I'm not as nimble as I'm used to. I can't go for 2 hours. I can't go for 2 hours anymore. You know what I mean? Let's go hard for 2.
I'm gonna have to mute this conversation because
Hey, but we're about to. This is a joke. We're about to end the show. I just realized we ran in a marathon. This has been a marathon. She's like, it's a joke. It's a joke.
I mean, I can talk about shit.
This could be real. You know, it's gonna come a time. It's not always about the physical as it is in the spiritual. And you're gonna get there one day, and you say, "Oh yeah, you're right." And I would love for you all to meet my goddess and myself sometime. She can tell you.
Yes.
The energy is awesome.
It
is. A lot of wisdom from your conversation. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Very, very good wisdom.
And to those, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
For those of you that would like to participate in our weekly lives, please send me a friend request at King Remenia. I'll be messing. Baba, say it, please. Damn. You didn't take the J out. Now I'll be struggling to say my own damn name. Baba, don't mute the mic.
Yarimia. His name is
Yarimia. Okay, so let me explain this. So pretty much in the original alphabets, is that what it is?
Yeah.
There was no J.
Yeah. There was no J until the 1500s. And it became as a Roman numeral and on the Y vortex, and there's no J in the language. All Greek, ancient Paleo Hebrew, the word J does not exist until it's
okay. So So Jermaine don't.
It means Yarimia. Yarimia would be the name for that.
Okay.
Yarimia.
Okay. So send me a friend request at King Yarimia. Inquire on Twitter at MEN-talRollaDeK, IG at MEN-talRollaDeK, on YouTube, like and subscribe at MEN-talRollaDeK, and on Twitch at MEN-talRollaDeK. Do you guys have any closing you would like to add? Something you'd like to say to the premature generation?
I want to say it's been great. I'm loving it. Meeting all you young great minds, and an old fossil sitting here. Just said, don't pay me no mind. I'm just an old fossil sitting there enjoying the fellowship. All you goddesses and great warriors, and I'm enjoying Sean's artwork. Man, I'm fascinated with it, and you're so talented. And by all means, keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Queen.
Okay, I just I've enjoyed this conversation, and Sean, I just want to tell you I'm proud of you. You know,
Well, thank you.
even even it may seem kind of tough, and it may seem like you're kind of like traveling that road by yourself, but you really aren't. It's some great people that's out there. Myself, Eurimia, and Baba, and we got our new sister on the line. Uh, and Tawana. So it's a lot of people out there that really understand the worth of self and understand that we all are emotional beings. Some show it more than others, but it's okay to express where you are, your feelings of how you feel and what's going on in your life. Even when to the rest of the world, it may look or appear to be weak when actually it's a cleansing process. And that is a part of your healing and you dealing with certain situations and scenarios that arise. So it's never a negative. It's always a positive. And as long as you continue to use that to uplift yourself and continue to use that to sustain you where you're solid in who you are, because that doesn't change, that helps enhance who you are because you're true to your emotions. So to those that are listening, I say to you, be proud of who you are and where you are in your emotional state. Everybody doesn't get a chance to hear that and need to know where you are because a lot of people may not receive it. So don't get discouraged when you share your heart with someone uh, about things that are going on and it's a negative uh, feedback. you know Take that in, write that down, and just know that it has to be a different avenue. Even if you have to search it out to find out who you can confide in to begin your cleansing, then take that time to do so. But it's never find that to be shameful or to be hurtful. To yourself or anyone else. So that is my take on tonight. And I've enjoyed this conversation. So thank y'all for having me on the platform.
No problema.
Uh,
Tawana?
Thank you for
Thank
being.
you guys. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for the invite. And I enjoyed it. I love hearing diverse opinions and conversations, and it elevates me and makes me think differently about things. And honestly, I want us all to create room for men to have emotional support and to feel like they are safe in sharing
Hmm.
how they feel about any situation. And so I hope that this opened up the conversation and just allowed, if there's some women who are resistant to it or dismissive of it, be more open and create that room for the man in your life. And I appreciate men like Sean and Kahan that were just open about their lives and relationships. So thank you. I hope to be back on the show one day, Jermaine. I appreciate you extending the offer.
Whenever you desire, I'll send you the link. I forgot you said you're not in Messenger, so we'll find a way to communicate.
Yeah, I'll shoot you some info.
Okay, hey Sean, you got anything you want to add, King?
Yeah. I actually enjoyed this conversation. I thought it was going to be like a little bit deeper than that, but we actually all had fun, and I think I had the most fun learning and understanding from both perspectives. My own from present and future. To be more aware that you are human and you do not have to shut yourself out because in the society's point of view that is the wrong thing to do. Yes, you got to be more open and you got to be more heartfelt because this world is cold, like seriously cold, and there are things that are coming up to the surface that is like literally shocking shocking the brains. And the last thing you want to lose is your ingenuity to feel, or that's how I feel, or the will to express. um I listened to this band called Incubus, and there was this line from this song. I can't remember the title of the song, but Brandon Boyd, the head of the group, said, "You better learn how to love before it's made illegal, before it's illegal. Like, you better learn how to love before." And in order to love, you have to love yourself. And with this journey, this 3-year journey I'm with my my business partner and also my life partner, and I'm just calling it and bringing it into existence because this is personally what I want, and I have a strong feeling that's the same for her. You have to love yourself. You have to have that self-love, and sometimes we don't give ourselves that leadway, that green light, and I think personally, if we don't allow it, how are you going to allow that for someone else? When you love yourself, you're confident, and that's the confidence that we're looking for, not the confidence that media is showing you. Yes, I'm not built like Jason Momoa, and I'm definitely not like Captain America or Black Panther, but I am my own sort of hero. I'm my own sort of different entity and avatar in my own little universe, and some people gotta accept themselves and feel that emotionally, physically, sexually, religiously, spiritually. You have to express that, and the freedom to express is under attack. Is under attack. You have to figure out who's doing the attacking, and most likely 99%, and not and 99%, it is you in both ways. One, you're either allowing it to happen, which is the worst thing you can ever do, and or two, you're doing it to yourself. And
Wow.
there is a difference. There is a big difference. I know I said the same thing in a way, but there is a difference, and it's up to you to figure that out. No one's there's and I think that's the thing. You have to realize that the only person that's gonna love you better than you is you, and there's just someone who's going to love you for who you are afterwards as well. And and you have to learn how to keep that balance, like Jermaine said, like Baba says, like everyone said. Like, you just have to learn how to balance yourself out, and it's okay to fucking cry. Jesus Christ, maybe you may need to cry, you know. Last time I cried, I was watching George Floyd's funeral. I don't know the guy from a hole in the wall, but I know that I felt that same situation. Not trying to get into political shit and so on. I'm pro-black and I always will be, despite the company that I keep. And my friends and family feel the same way too. But anywho, apart from that, I didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall, but I felt that empathy. I saw those brothers like they were my brothers. And so when they were speaking, I cried as if I was the one laying in the casket. Like, why you let these people do that to you? Like, like that just shatters, that just rattles your mind a bit, and it makes you think. Like, why people being so stone cold and trying to hide things that they cannot control? Let go. Maybe you'll be able to control a little bit more if you let go. And some guys think, all right, oh, crying is for bitches, and I'm sorry for using that term, but and I hate how they put that term and
Dogs cry too,
and
Sean. Dogs cry too.
right, exactly, and not only that, but I think I cried more in the relationship than my girlfriend did. Does that make her tougher than me, or or vice versa? No, that just makes us human. So we have to learn how to express that and learn how to be open when that someone special in your life is expressing that. Don't be afraid to be that shoulder or be that voice or be that guiding hand. I think personally it would make things a little bit more easier if you open up and you allow for this person to open up without any judgments. Because I've seen what bottled up meant, and what the definition of bottled up is either a black and eye from one of the two partners, or a broken window, broken car, cheating, broken doors, stuff just broken inside, lower self-esteem, and all that stuff and above. The whole thing is that you got to be open, and you got to be able to express whether or not it harms you. And if you feel harmed, open up more, because at the same time, it puts everything on the table. It's not about bowing down or bowing out. It's more about just laying the cards on the table. You know, in the business sense, people are cutthroat. People will turn coat on you, or you feel like it's a betrayal. But meanwhile, it's business. People got to eat too. So who's to say that it's not any different from your physical, your mental, your and spiritual state? I think personally it's one and the same. Communication is key, like always will be, and it should be. I think, I think I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. And you see me like moving the camera around, and I'm going loose. I'm sorry. But yeah, I had to let that out. So when I asked if that was taboo, I wanted someone to contest, because that person probably needed that insight the most. So I hope I reached out to you in some sort of way and gave you some guidance. I don't even speak like this, but I know what not speaking does. So, just take care of each other, guys. Thank you very much. And oh yeah. I didn't even plug my book. I'm sorry. So pick up Home and Worlds Beyond from Divided District Studios. You can find it at divideddistrictstudios.com. And you can also find the other title from my partner and girlfriend, Jody DeReal, called Euphoria. And make sure you pick up that book as well, especially for the ladies. You guys will love it the most. Guys, I don't know. It may not be your cup of tea, but just stick with it. Read the book. They're both are interesting stories, and there's more to come. And you can also find me at Sketch Cool Sean at IG, and also Sean MacArthur on Facebook. That's more personalized. You'll see art there, but it's more personalized. And yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Tawana. Thank you, Pasha. Thank you, Pasha. I called you Pasha. I'm sorry.
I got to tell you that twice, right? So you got it down packed now. I noticed.
Oh yeah, you do enough interviews. That's the problem. I don't do interviews like that as much, and I just started doing interviews like a year ago when things started rolling, and once you start getting the hang of it, you get better at it, and you start having like that voice. I don't even care how my voice sounds. I have a deep voice, and when I listen to it, I hate it. I cringe. But you know what? Someone says when you don't have a face for TV, you have a voice for radio. So I think you got to be grateful for what you got, right?
Absolutely. And I don't. You said it all, King. I don't want to cut in on that. And I really appreciate you actually opening up and actually sharing that. I felt like you needed to release that, and you did just definitely. That, which was a plus. And I'm gonna keep it simple for you guys. Treat relationships like the seasons. You got to learn when the changes apply and maneuver with the changes. Don't force anything. Just flow.
All right, I'm coming.
And be the flow.
Okay,
and with that being said, elevation, prosperity, and love. Peace.